a cultural perspective on marriage, the role of values and traditions on marriage satisfaction. And our expert today is life relationship and accountability coach Abisola Buari. It's great to have you. You're welcome.
Good morning.
This is quite a mouthful. Yeah, this is quite a mouthful, the topic.
Yes,
Cultural perspective on marriage, the role of values and traditions
Tradition
on marriage satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Okay, first of all, what do we term or what do you term marriage satisfaction?
Okay, my satisfaction is whereby the partners get to enjoy what they anticipate before going into the marriage.
Okay.
So that is satisfaction. You get to enjoy everything encompassing, irrespective of the challenges or struggle that you might encounter along the side. But you still get to enjoy that thing that
All right.
you.
So what are these
looking for.
roles, these values and traditions, and what are the roles that they actually perform in marriage satisfaction?
Okay, like we have some values and traditions that cannot be compromised to get marriage satisfaction. And we're talking about trust, we are talking about communication, we are talking about honesty, we are talking about empathy. Like with this, if these values are embedded into a marriage and the two parties uphold them, then they would enjoy that. They will enjoy satisfaction in that relationship.
You know, now when it comes to issues talking about traditions, these are things that have, you know, a way of life that have existed through time. But we've seen a lot of things change in the current days. The woke culture, as it were, at this particular point, a lot of things are changing. You know, marriages are not, the institution is not as solid as it used to be. You know, it's easier now to get a divorce. Some issues happen and all of that. With the woke culture, with the woke, that means you're trying to say that there are some things that are traditional that we should uphold when you talk about communication and things like this. But in such a society as ours, like I said, where this woke culture has come in, how does one balance effects when you have to, when there's work? We have more, people are more aware of their mental health now. People don't, I mean, some few days back, I was talking to a friend who said, look, once I get back home from work, I don't want to talk, I want to relax, I want to sleep. And you mentioned communication here, and maybe the wife has been at home or she's been working, or she also goes to work, she comes back, oh, they're tired, maybe put the kids in bed, if there are no kids, they just rush to bed and all that, and it just goes on and on like that. In such a culture as it is now, how does one inculcate those traditional values? How do you ensure that in spite of, you know, everybody being busy, you can inculcate those traditional values and get the best or marriage satisfaction, as you call it?
Okay, you know, like, first thing, couples need to understand that marriage is beyond contractual agreements or romantic relationship. So, like, you have to open up communication in your marriage, whether work, whether olden days traditions. The parties in that marriage have to open up communications, and irrespective of the cultural differences, you know, like in many cultures, marriage is a sacred union whereby it's like a kind of partnership between the husband and wife, and they have to work together to achieve a common goal. And in some other culture, marriage is just like a contractual relationship between families. So, like, you know, and when two families comes together and wants to enter into a marriage contract, the values that uphold that marriage is, we look at the social status, we look at the economic status and other things. So perhaps the feelings of those parties may not really count, because for them to do anything, they have to think about the family background, the name, they have to uphold the name, then the financial, economic, and social status, the status of the family. But beyond all that, there are things that you cannot compromise. And that's why communication, honesty, trust. So irrespective of how much work you're doing, whatever you're facing, you have to open up communications. Let the other party understand that when I'm home, I want to be all by myself. But if you are empathetic enough, you understand that you cannot be home and be all by yourself. So, like, you have to invest you have to put in, like, marriage is not a 50-50 thing. It's a 100-100. Come with your 100. Let me come with my 100. That is when it is going to work. So if you're empathetic enough, you know that you've been out all day and you're coming back. Despite the fact that you're tired, your partner still need, so some part of you still wants you to, like, you still need to connect, like, in a way or two. So it's for you to now sacrifice that time for your partner.
Okay, so I want to have your thoughts on the trending debates now. It's been going on, of course, it's based off the recent story about the footballer and his wife and all of that. Some people came up to say that your wife is not your blood, or in quote, you know. And we spoke about it earlier this morning, you know, where a man said that if he gets to a particular situation and his wife, or if it's in the hospital, if his wife is going to give birth, says if his wife and the baby, if they're at risk and he has to save one, he will save the baby because the baby is his blood. That was his reason. So, tying into this issue of Hakimi and the wife and all that, are people feeling that the wife is a different entity? What do you think about that kind of a mindset? You know, men and all of that. What do you think about that kind of mindset when they say, "Oh, my children are blood, but the wife is not blood," and all of that? But she was the one that gave. I mean, she was the one that mothered those children. You know, kept them for that. But what do you think about that kind of mindset?
What I'll say is that the map is not a territory. There are different angles to things. So for people that say their wife is not their blood, perhaps they are viewing it from one angle. For people that say their wife is their blood, they are viewing it from another angle.
But those that say their wife is not their blood, they are saying that there are some things, there's some sacrifices they will not make
for their wives.
Which is why the Hakimi situation came. You understand? What is your own stance? So he said he could not give her 50% because it feels like you came into me as a hawk and you want to come and get things from me. What is your own stance? Should a man think of his wife that way?
No. For me, like, a man should not think of his wife that way. You can't feel like she's coming. She has children for you. She's going to take care of these children, or perhaps maybe when the courts grant custody, if the children ends up being with her and you move on with your life, you're going to, she cannot always come to you and say she wants money and all these awards that are being granted by the court, monthly award. Some people are not consistent with it. Maybe so she perceives that this is what we work. Just give me this 50% and let's not meet again. So it may be that. If that's the ground, I feel like, yeah, she knows he can't afford it. She's not asking for 80%. She's not asking for 90%. Just 50.
Just 50. You got 50 just?
Yes, like 50. Go on with your life with 50. Let me go on with your 2 children with 50.
No, I will still take care of my children.
No. Let's not assume. Like, let's not generalize. Let's just assume that she wants the 50, like, to take care of those children till they are adults and they can stand on their own. That is how I am viewing it. Like, she's not taking the 50% that for myself. Like, I just want to enjoy life. So, you know, like, this the statement to me is not complete. We don't know the genesis. We don't know what will happen after. We just jump into the middle of the trend. So whatever we want to say, you know, like, we are talking based on emotions, like personal emotions.
Definitely.
But at the end of the day, they are the 2 people involved and they know what will work for them.
I like that. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully we'll have you, of course, for the rest of the month.
All right, thank you.
Right, that's it on Relationship this Wednesday morning. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. Quite a bit more to come on the show.